So the key word is C, it's consistency. So the first advice is you want to build in consistency into your schedule. Because when you're consistent, then what happens, whatever's happening around you, all the tornadoes, they're not affected. The biggest thing we do is we get off our schedule. So what we do, we prospect. And then what happens is that something happens and we have to go deal with a deal. And then we stop prospecting. And we tell ourselves that we are going to catch up later. And anyone who's got experience here knows that's not going to happen once you've got that experience. So write this down or remember this, the day revolves around your prospecting. You don't do your prospecting around the day, right? Your day revolves around your prospecting. So what happened is, unfortunately, my first broker, they had a situation where the daughter passed away and she was young. And he's a real estate broker for a long time. And I was at the funeral, and I would say 80% of the people were in real estate. Just, I guess, his friends, right? And it was in the morning. It was a very sad occasion. She was young. And I was new in the business. And I looked around and I realized that, and that time there was no cell phones. It was pages, if anyone remembers. But nobody was looking at their pager. Nobody was looking at their pager. And I said, wait a minute. And now it's for 2.5, 3 hours. No one even thought about it. And I definitely wasn't going to think about it. And I said to myself after, how come they didn't look at their pager without any problem? And the world is still revolving. I said, wait a minute, it's 3 hours later when I got back to the office, and the world is still revolving. Like, we sometimes think the world will stop revolving if we don't look at our phone. So number one is, while you're prospecting, you got to get your phone out of the way, unless you're prospecting from your phone. In which case, you want to have no notifications, nothing. Because the biggest thing is a distraction coming in. If you can just focus on non-distraction, focusing on one thing at a time, then that's a thing about peak performance. When they study peak performers, they have an ability to focus on one thing for a long period of time, to concentration, and having no internal dialogue. So your internal dialogue is, while you're prospecting, is, and I'll give you two of them because they both work, and try them both. One may work more than another. While you're dialing, you say these words. Try number one. You go, this is number one. I'll give you an alternative one. Is who needs my help today? Who can I help today? Who can I help today? Who needs my help today? Who can I help today? While you're calling. So that way it takes up that space in your unconscious mind, that voice that wants to tell you, hey, are you hungry? Right? In the Hindu religion, they call it something monkey. I've forgotten what it is. And then somebody else, a coach of mine, a great coach, he called it the drunk monkey. But then it's called the dancing monkey. I found out it's from the old scripture. But basically, it's that drunk monkey whispering, are you hungry? So you got that. So what you do is say, who can I help today? Right? And the other thing that I did was I visualized. This really helped me. I visualized setting the appointment. So I actually put on a 3x5 count. I still remember it. And I wrote on there, I want to sell my home. And could you please sell my other 3 properties? And do you accept an 8% commission? And I put that on there. And that's what I'm waiting for. So I'm waiting for a yes. So when I see that, I want to dial. That could be my next person on the phone. And seriously, it works. And one person might say, well, what if you don't get it? It doesn't matter. It could be the next guy. But write down expectation. See, when you expect business, you'll be on the phone. The reason why you don't prospect unconsciously, one of the reasons is at least, is you actually don't think it will work. And I've seen that. So I've seen people come into my team. I had one person that was coached for 2.5 years by a very big and great coaching company I really like. She's on the phone and I'm saying, why are you fighting with customers? Because he's arguing with for sale by owners. Like, no, you're wrong. You know, that kind of thing. And I'm thinking, what the heck? And he hated it. It was painful for him. I go, why are you saying that? Like when they say you have a buyer or whatever, you were in coaching. And he said, yeah, I used to ask my coach, what do I say here? What do I say in this situation? And he just say, just read the scripts. I go, oh, okay, okay. So he hated prospecting. But what if you love prospecting? What if you're calling because you're getting appointments, you believe it. And the reason that I was really interested in that is I always figured, I always was curious, how come when I set an appointment, I set another one right after? Has anyone ever had that experience? Well, you're prospecting for 2 hours, nothing happens. You set an appointment, you set the next one. So this big speaker actually mentioned it, and he said something very similar. He goes, when you're on a roll, you're setting appointments, you get more, you get another one. And he said these words, I don't know why. And I go, I know why, I figured it out. So I figured maybe this is not that commonly known, the why. And the other thing is, I used to door knock for many years, selling all kinds of things, juice machines and all kinds of thigh masters in businesses, back of factories and whatever. I had a whole team, up to 40 guys at one time, and girls. And the same thing, you'd be out there knocking on doors, you wouldn't sell anything. And after about, say, an hour and a half, you'd sell one, get the secretary to buy thigh masters. She lends the money to the next lady. You arrange all that, like the way you talk and all the conversation. I got on your back of the, you're in the Bell building, you know, where they call, when you call in for repairs, there's a number where you call in for repairs. And I was right there with those ladies, with a very thin thing, with bars on the windows, like you had to have a code, but I got in there, sneaked in there, I said I'm from the main warehouse and all that. I'm selling luggage, airline luggage. And the same thing, when you sell one, you start selling everybody. And the reason is, I want to tell you, because it seems like no one knows when these big speakers, but I spend my time analyzing, because I want to be able to repeat it. And there's probably a few reasons, but the one I want to mention now, the biggest one, is expectation. You see, when you get someone saying, yeah, come on over, okay, the next one you go, eh, and you actually expect the next one. You see, it's expectation. You actually expect the business. I cracked that code. So then I said, why don't I put that in advance? Why do I have to wait an hour and a half? Why don't I just condition myself and hypnotize myself that everybody wants to work with me, everybody wants to sell with me? Does that make sense?